Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is Jose Mourinho's press conference reaction for Manchester United versus Fulham. And I know what you're expecting. You know what I'm going to talk about. You know I'm going to rant about the Fred situation and the Fred comments from Jose Mourinho. But I'm actually going to put that on the back plate for a minute. And I'm going to start off, don't all be surprised at once. I'm going to start off with a positive. A positive. Who'd have thought it? Manchester United appear to have won the race to sign 16-year-old forward from Amiens, Noam Emran, who is looking like he could rise to £10 million. He looks like he could be an absolute star of the future. Yet another young player around 16 or 17 signed by Manchester United. This is not credit for Jose Mourinho. This has been going on since the days of Louis van Gaal, and is another, I applaud this. This is something I will applaud Manchester United about. We've been buying up a lot of young talent for a number of years now, and hopefully it will bear fruition at the moment. Also, just want to read you this comment from George Mendes, who is Jose Mourinho's agent. This might upset you. He says, Mourinho leaving is totally untrue. Jose is very happy at the club and the club is very happy with him. He has a long-term contract with Manchester United and is fully committed to the club in building a solid winning project. Not what you want to hear on a Friday, but that is what his agent has said. Mourinho has said Fred should wait, Addy. I will talk about that in a moment. But my headline really is, from listening to the Jose Mourinho press conference, is Mourinho is destroying Manchester United and lowering expectations to a level, as I've been saying for 6 months. Even when I was backing Mourinho after the Sevilla game, back in March, I said I will not allow Mourinho to lower expectations of Manchester United. We are the richest club in the world. We have the biggest fan base in the world. Never in a million years should he be allowed to come out with the comments that he's come out again with today. And never should we have expectations lowered where we are saying, yeah, we should be happy with fighting for 4th place. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And my theory is that Jose Mourinho, actually, because he is a clever man, he knows that this club do not want to sack him because it will cost them £20 million. He knows that this club is waiting for him to fail so that the price is reduced and they can get rid of him on the cheap. So he knows this, and I think Jose Mourinho comes into press conferences and says whatever he likes with a hint of goading to the board, knowing they've got no recourse. He knows they're not going to sack him because some of the comments he's been coming out with recently are nothing short of a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to our club. And it's nothing to do with being Mourinho in or out here. I don't care whether you're Mourinho in or out. It's your own personal choice. But what you should be, even if you do back this manager, you should be saying his comments today to come out and say that 2nd place was my biggest achievement in football last season because I kept our team in front of teams that were better than us with better potential is a bloody disgrace. On what planet is that? On what planet was us finishing 2nd a massive achievement because we stayed ahead of better teams than us? We were pretty crap last season. We grinded out results last season and we still lost to Huddersfield. We still lost to West Brom. We still lost to Newcastle and we were still 20 points behind Man City. And he wants to talk like finishing 2nd last season, 2nd by 20 points to Man City in 1st place, was some massive achievement because teams that were better than us, he kept us ahead of. Who was better than us last season? Like Liverpool. If I can remember, we played Liverpool twice. We beat them at Old Trafford. We drew with them at Anfield. If I remember playing Spurs, would they beat us at their place? We beat them at our place. If I remember Arsenal, we beat them home and away. Chelsea, we definitely beat them at our place. They beat us at their place. We played these teams. We had Paul Pogba. We had David De Gea. We had Martial, although you didn't pick him. You signed Alexis Sanchez. You signed a player in January that every other club in the top 6 dreamed about. Man City wanted Alexis Sanchez. I'm sure Arsenal would have liked to keep him. I'm sure Spurs, Chelsea and Liverpool would love to have got him. We got him. Why? Why is he being allowed to lower these expectations and feed nonsense out there? We finished 2nd last season because he kept us ahead of better teams. What a crock of nonsense. What a load of rubbish. I'm fed up of it. I'm absolutely fed up of it. And as I say, it doesn't matter whether you're Mourinho in or out. What he is doing to our club should not be allowed. It should not be allowed. I plead with the board to do something about it. And I plead with fans not to let it happen. It's not about being Mourinho out. That's not what I'm saying. I know a lot of you want to back Mourinho, but don't go along with these comments, these mythical comments that he's throwing out there like bloody fairy dust, trying to make you believe it. We finished 2nd last season because that's where we deserve to finish. It's a 38-game season. We played all these teams that were supposedly better than us, and most of them couldn't beat us, certainly not at Old Trafford. We finished where we did because we deserved to finish there. Let's not say we finished there because Jose kept us above better teams. Spurs weren't better than us last season. Liverpool weren't better. Chelsea weren't better. Arsenal weren't better. You didn't get your Harry Potter wand out and do some magic, Jose. The squad you've got, as I said, you got Alexis Sanchez as well. You finished where you should finish last season. Stop trying to lower expectations because you've messed up this season. We're in 8th position and you're now trying to say, oh, I always knew this was going to happen, Gav. I always knew this was going to happen. I did well last year. I did well with it. You know, he spoke about Fulham tomorrow, right? He said it's going to be difficult against Fulham tomorrow because we've only had 2 days rest. And then his brain obviously kicked in and went, Jose. It's like he's got a voice in his head, 2 voices, right? And the voice in Jose's head went, yeah, Jose, yeah, we did only play 2 days ago, but so did Fulham. Oh, shit. It's all right, I've got another excuse. Oh, yeah, and Fulham did play 2 days ago, but when they play against us tomorrow, they're not going to put as much effort in as we did because of the way they're going to play. I.e., he thinks Fulham are going to park the bus. The irony there. But, you know, not only does he wants to redo the past, he's always right. He's also writing the future. So he already knows how Fulham are going to play, and he's already saying it's a harder game for us because we put a lot of effort in on Wednesday night, and we'll put more effort than Fulham in tomorrow. I mean, you know, it's Lollipop Lane, it's gingerbread houses, it's fantasy world. What is he on about? What is he on about? How can you predict what Fulham are going to do tomorrow and then start using it as an excuse for how hard it is to play against Arsenal on Wednesday and then against them? I'm coming to Fred. There's a lot of people saying, what have you got to say about Fred? I tell you what, I've got a lot to say about what he said about Fred, but there are other things I need to talk about before. But I'm absolutely angry and adamant about this. We cannot let him do what he is doing. He is lowering the expectations. Like I said, you don't have to be Mourinho out with me on this. You can be Mourinho in. But please, please, please stand up for what Manchester United's all about. The richest club in the world, the biggest fan base in the world, the biggest club in England. He is trying to make us Stoke 2009. He's trying to say that this situation we are in is what we should expect. And let's all get on the Jose fantasy plane because he's got a plan to get us back where we need to be. You're taking us down, mate. You're taking us down. You're taking us to the depths of hell at the moment. It's not acceptable. And he's lowering expectations every time he opens his gob. And I believe he's doing it because he knows the club aren't going to sack him. So he's going. I personally think Mourinho would love Christmas off. He'd love the 20 million. He'd love Christmas off, and he knows Real Madrid want him. I think he's coming out with this stuff. He'd probably, you know, I'm not saying he watches the United stand, but he probably has a look on social media. He has a look at how fans are reacting to what he's said, and he's probably sat there with a little mulled wine, something on the telly at Lowry, a bit of little mince pie, rubbing his hands together going, yes, they're melting down, more pressure on the board. When are they going to pay me? Show me the money. Show me the money so I can get off, back down to London, get myself down Harrods and do a bit of Christmas shopping with my 20 million. And then I'm off to Madrid for the spring. You know, and that's the situation Jose's in. But our board's like, oh, he said something wrong again. He said something wrong again. Well, we're not sacking him. We're not sacking him. I've got my Christmas bonus here. I want to be off to Aspen with the Glazers. I've got my business Christmas bonus. If we give Jose 20 million, I'll have to go to the Cotswold instead of Aspen. You know, and that's what it is. United are all about the money. Mourinho is in a massively comfortable position. That's why he's so relaxed. It is. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the football. He was asked about, I'm coming to Fred. Do not worry, I am coming to Fred. He was asked about obviously last week he said we haven't got enough mad dogs in midfield. You're going to love this one. Contradiction Mourinho, I call him. So he was asked on Wednesday night against Arsenal, did you get your mad dogs? And he was like, yes. The stats support it. The runs, the pressure, the intensity, the pressing. That's exactly what I want to see from Manchester United. And he said, you know, for example, Ander Herrera and Marcus Rashford, even if they had a bad game, you know they're going to run and run and run. The whole team played well, but, you know, he highlighted those two players. Two things I picked up from that while he was talking. I thought, yeah, you know, we did try. You know, we did try. And we've seen Jesse Lingard tweeting about, you know, his jammy equaliser and, you know, celebrating 8th place and a draw because that's what footballers do these days. But, and you know what? If we had a proper manager, they'd all get a bollocking for that, and they all should. And I think Lingard's been great the last few weeks when I've watched him, and I think Rashford has as well. But these social media posts about trying when you're 8th in your league and you're Manchester United, they make me want to throw up. This is not what this club's all about. And it seems, you know, Dalot made his debut on Wednesday night. He's tweeting out that I go to bed thinking about 4th place and I wake up thinking about 4th place. And I'm like, oh my God, he's the future. He is the future, and he's thinking about 4th place. This is what has happened to our club. But anyway, what really got me about that is Mourinho talks about the intensity and the pressing. We did it for the first 10 minutes, and then it stopped. We should have lost that game, and we got a draw. But most important of all, he talks about Herrera and Rashford as the big positives in that game. And he's right. The intensity, the passion, the desire from Rashford and Herrera was absolutely fantastic. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Who are the people who have been saying for the last 18 months Rashford and Herrera should be starting a lot more than they should? Yes, it's you. It's Manchester United fans, right? Okay. Over the last 3 months, have Herrera and Rashford been starting many games? No, they haven't. Who picks the team? Jose Mourinho. So how is he sat in a press conference tonight taking credit for Herrera and Rashford and their intensity when United fans have been on about this for 18 months, that you need those players in the team? They may not be the best at the moment, but they'll certainly never stop running, and they will provide us with an intensity and a press that is required. Mourinho sits there, shouts them out, and he's the man who's ignored them. He's the man who's not been picking them. He talks about Wednesday was great because we pressed, we showed intensity, we showed desire. Matic, McTominay, Fellaini will never press, and they will never, ever, ever, ever get a team under pressure because they're too slow. Herrera will, Rashford will, Fred can. You know, it's this fantasy world that he chucks out there like, oh, Herrera and Rashford, they were the difference on Wednesday. Well, yeah, they were, but you've not been picking them. The fans have been on about picking these players for months. You don't pick them. It's not a surprise against Arsenal that we played well, because the players you picked, the players the fans have been on about for months, will do what we need to do. The reason we played well on Wednesday, effort-wise, and caused Arsenal problems intensity-wise, is because of the players you picked. You went to West Ham and played Matic, McTominay and Fellaini. You know, the walking giants. You know, the walking statues. No wonder there was no intensity and desire. You play Herrera in the midfield over the last 2 games. What a surprise. United are suddenly pressing and causing the opposition problems. And this is what... It's this bloody static thinking. This bloody mythical world that he tries and portrays. He's the contributor. You haven't been playing Herrera. You played him for the last 2 games, and there has been a marked improvement in how United are performing in the midfield. It's nothing to do with, oh, they're responding, they're playing for me. It's the players you're picking. They were always an option. You never chose to use them. Keep picking these players, and I'm sure results will improve. Go back to your favourites, and they won't. It's as simple as that. And it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh that he tries to take credit for Herrera and Rashford when he's hardly been picking them. And certainly in the case of Herrera, he's hardly been picking them. Right, let's talk about the big topic, Fred. Fair play to the journalist. He was asked a direct question about Fred. He was like, you know, Fred's development, how's he doing? He paused. He said, you know, step by step, he's improving. He also did what he's done before. He said, there are players who've been signed for other clubs who are taking their time. Well, the names Keita and Fabinho come to mind, but that Liverpool midfield got to a Champions League final. Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner was very, very effective. So you can sign Keita and Fabinho, and they are starting to get some game time now, and they are good players. And I think Liverpool fans would have expected them to play a little bit more. But Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner are actually a very effective midfield for Liverpool. So, you know, that's what you're up against. United's midfield, Fellaini, Pogba and Matic, is pretty shit. And Fred coming in for 50 million shouldn't need to wait for his opportunity. He should be part of that team. But Mourinho said that the issue I have at the moment is until we're sorted out defensively, it's not really a team for Fred. And once we've sorted out defensively, then Fred's opportunities will increase. I'm absolutely stunned by this. I don't remember Pep Guardiola coming into Man City and waiting to play people like David Silva until he got the defence he wanted to play. I don't remember Klopp waiting to have the defence he wanted before he started playing the attacking game he wanted. Again, in fact, Klopp's only sorted his defence out this summer. He's been at Liverpool for a year and a half before, trying to play the way he wants to play. But no, we've got a manager who wants to build from the back. He wants to defensively be solid before he even tries to score goals. I think it's a joke. You know, Matic plays every week, and most of the week he plays crap. and yet I can't play Fred yet because we're not defensively good. Well, we're not defensively good anyway. Playing Fred's not going to make us defensively worse. I saw Fred play against Wolves in a very competitive game, and you took him off after an hour. He scored a goal, and he nearly scored a free kick. He was the best player on the pitch. You took him off. I saw him against Young Boys, best player on the pitch. You took him off. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's an excuse. What manager at the highest level says, I've got this player that's really good, but I can't play him till I've sorted my team out defensively? It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. And what it is it's a big red flag that our manager is focused on defence and not on attack. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. I can't play a more box-to-box midfielder until I've sorted my defence out. How's about let them score 3, we score 4, instead of let's try and keep a clean sheet and nick it 1-0. This is what we've got. This is what we've got at Manchester United. It's not Jose's fault. It's the board's fault. Mourinho is Mourinho. Mourinho didn't come to United with a reputation for being Pep Guardiola and then he went defensive. Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United with a reputation for being a part of the bus manager and is still a part of the bus manager. We can't complain about it. We've got what we've got. But I think some of the things he says are just very, very sad. I can't play Fred till I get some money to spend on my defence. What sort of... again, it's mocking the board, because what sort of board listens to him say that? Because he's basically got him by the balls. He's like, yeah, you've spent 50 million on Fred, but I'm not playing him till you give me another 50 million for a centre-back. That's basically what he's doing. He's basically holding the club to ransom. Yes, you spent 50 million pounds on Fred, but I'm not playing him till you give me some money for the defenders as well. I've never heard anything like it, and I'm not likening Fred to Messi here because that would be ridiculous. But let's liken Fred to somebody like Dele Alli. It's like Pochettino saying, I'm not playing Dele Alli, I'm playing Wanyama until I've got another centre-back to play with, because Alderweireld's on the decline. Until I've got somebody to play with Davinson Sanchez and Vertonghen, I'm not playing Dele Alli, I'm going to play another defensive midfielder. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it portrays a manager whose mindset is defensive. And it's very, very, very sad. I agree with you, Matt. I do not understand Mourinho's logic anymore. Everything he says is bathed in contradiction. It really is. It really is. Everything he says is, you can sort of say, but. Like he says about, he said about Fulham that, Fulham won't demand tomorrow what it does for us, because Fulham maybe will come for the draw and we will go for the win. But Fulham haven't had £400 million to spend. Fulham haven't got Paul Pogba. Fulham haven't got Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial. Fulham haven't got Luke Shaw. Fulham haven't got David De Gea. Fulham have got a championship side and they're coming to United. So they're probably going to play a little bit more defensive. But Jose speaks like, well, we played 2 days ago with a lot of intensity. We've got to play with a lot of intensity at home against Fulham. It's going to be hard for us. But I've got no sympathy. Fulham are not Manchester United. Fulham are in the bottom. Fulham are a championship side. We're Manchester United. We've got massive resources. They haven't. Ranieri could do his press conference and say, oh, Jose's talking about us, we might play a bit defensive. But if I had the players he's got and I had the money he's got, I'd probably go for it. He plays people like Bournemouth and tries to make it a level playing field so that when he wins, he can go, yes, look at me. But like Bournemouth's forward, whole team is probably not worth what Pogba gets in a week. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. He tries to make everything hard for us, in lowering expectations all the time. And I think that's what grates me. I'm past Mourinho out. If you want to know if I'm Mourinho out, of course I am. But it's not about Mourinho in or out anymore. What it is about is every time he opens his mouth, he embarrasses our club. Not just to the fans, but to the rest of the world. Because everything he says is a contradiction. And everything he says is twisting it to make himself look good. The bottom line is, we will win tomorrow. But we're playing bottom of the league. And we are actually... I looked last night... Who are Everton playing? Who are Bournemouth playing? Who are Brighton playing? Can we get 6th tomorrow? Because that's our direct competitor. I'm not looking at who Arsenal have got and whether they're going to drop points, because the gap is too big. It really is. On the injury front, we don't really know what the situation is because the press conference was done before Manchester United trained. But he was asked a direct question as well, is it a must-win game? And he said, look, we're going to go into this positively and we're going to try and win this game of football. But if we don't win the game, then you've got to give credit to the opposition who deserve it, because it's not 11 versus 0, it's 11 versus 11. Which, you know what, look, some people have said it was a little bit David Moyes in what he said, but at the end of the day, I think he's just covering his backside there. I really do. But I wonder. There was something in Mourinho's press conference today where I sort of tried to be a little bit empathetic, and I thought, if he got a centre-back that he thinks befits Manchester United, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? Because what he was saying around Fred today and the intensity today, it's almost like he's trying to ignore the first 3 months of this season and say, actually, I want my midfield three to be Herrera, Pogba and Fred. I just need a centre-back pairing that's good enough to allow me not to play Matic or Fellaini. Now, if that was the case, then I think we'd all go, look, actually, sod off, you've had your chance. But you should have just done it sooner. But I don't believe him. Do you really believe that even if he had Rafael Varane and Sergio Ramos as his centre-backs, he's suddenly going to play Fred, Pogba and Herrera? No, he's still going to play Matic and he's still going to play Fellaini. It's all a big smokescreen. And if this was his third month in the job, then maybe we could give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is year 3. And what has Mourinho consistently done over the last 3 years with his midfield? He consistently picks giants, slow giants. So I don't believe him. And I think it's ridiculous. Why is Fred even at the club? It's halfway through the season. If you're not going to play him until you've got the defence you want, why is Fred at the club? Why? It's an absolute waste of time. And I just think, I really go back to what I said at the start, that I think Mourinho wants the payout, and I think he's saying absolutely anything he can to irritate United fans in the hope that the pressure will be put on the board to sack him. But the board are not going to sack him because they don't want to pay the money. And I said this last night. So what we're going to have is we're going to continue having these pantomime circus comments from Mourinho where he's irritating us whilst the board sit on their hands singing, pretending it's not happening. And I think that's the situation at United now. And there will be little wins. I think we'll win tomorrow. But the big battles will be lost. And the big battle is we should be fighting for the title and we should be comfortably top 4. And I think we'll get to the point where we don't get top 4. They'll kick Mourinho out. He won't get as much money as he would get now because the clause of top 4 will be gone. And he'll still wander back to Madrid. And who's the loser? Us. Because we're back in the bloody Emmerdale Cup. So, the nightmare goes on, says Spraycan 81, and it is a bloody nightmare. But as I said, look, I don't Mourinho in, Mourinho out, shake it all about, whatever. The reality is that I adamantly will keep saying this. The lowering of expectations is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. He should not be doing this. And I know why he's doing it, because he's protecting his own ego. But we're Manchester United. We've got the biggest fan base in the world. We have got the biggest revenue in the world. We are the biggest club in this country. Fact. We should not be having our expectations lowered. A manager of our club should not be coming out and saying that last season, second was a massive achievement because we stayed ahead with teams better than us. You don't stay ahead of a team better than you over a 38 league season. The season we lost the league to Man City with that Aguero goal was absolutely horrible. But the best team won the league because over 38 games, their goal difference was better than ours. We were better than Liverpool in the league. We were better than Arsenal. We were better than Chelsea and we were better than Spurs. We played all those teams twice. We played 38 games and we finished above them. There is no luck. There is no, I did a great job to keep us above better teams. We were the second best team in England last season because we were the second best team in England. We are now the 8th best team in England. Last season was not a smokescreen. What's happened is we are getting worse and worse and worse under this manager. And that is the fact. He can spin it however he wants. He's not lowering my expectations of where Manchester United should be. And even our biggest rivals know that a club the size of ours should be comfortably in the top 4 year in, year out. There is no excuse. Absolutely none. And Mourinho is not lowering the expectations. No matter how hard he tries, it's a load of nonsense. Nothing more to say other than I am just tired, says Biggie Third. And Killian Will says, richest club in the world and won't sack that Pillock for 20 million, which is nothing for us. Birthday tomorrow as well. Hopefully not ruined by crap football. I think we'll win tomorrow. I think we'll win for you tomorrow, Killian. I mean, it was reported today that we might be going in for Pochettino for 40 million quid, which makes you understand why we might not want to pay 20 million to get rid of Mourinho. But the honest answer is I don't really give a damn. It's not, I don't really give a damn. The only people who benefit by us not paying Mourinho 20 million is our shareholders. And up yours. Who are you? Are you Manchester United fans? Probably not. You're just businessmen with your finger in our pie. If they get burnt and you lose a few million, tough. We're a football club. Do what's best for the football club. And I tell you what, if you do what's best for the football club, you'll make more money in the long run anyway, you bloody idiots. It's obvious. The more successful the club is on the pitch, the more money comes in your pockets. Sometimes you've got to spend to accumulate. And at the moment, the most logical footballing business decision is sack the manager and sort this mess out. Stop sitting on your hands, get a backbone and do what's best for this bloody club. Because at the moment, we're an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. And we're being embarrassed every time this manager spins and turns us into Stoke 2019 and tries to tell us we should be bloody grateful for it. Facts. Absolute facts. Anyway, we are live again at 8 o'clock tonight. Please do drop a like on the video if you enjoy the Mourinho press conference reaction. You won't enjoy his press conferences at the moment. They're tough to take. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner, and make sure you're tuning in at 8 o'clock tonight because we've got a massive reveal for you, which I think you're going to really, 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 really like. Friday Night Live is always a bit of fun, and obviously a big weekend coming up for Manchester United as well. But I don't think Fulham are going to beat us at all. Paul Robinson makes a very good point, actually. Just hang on there. Akanji, who's a Dortmund centre-back, I think he's actually Swiss. I really like him. He's a young centre-back. He's a Manchester United fan. I've spoken about him before. And basically, he's done a comment basically saying that I do support Manchester United, but I don't watch them because I don't like the way Mourinho plays football. I don't know what's going on in the training ground. How would I? But I don't like how we're playing football. That's a young centre-back that we should be looking to bring to our club, who is a Manchester United fan, who is publicly saying, I don't watch United anymore because I don't like the way they play. So thanks for reminding me about that, Paul. As Drawty says, tonight at 8 o'clock, it's a new thing. Get your comments in below. There's lots to talk about. Let us know what you think about Fred, about the lowering of expectations. Maybe some of you are on Jose's side. It's all up to you. It's all about your comments. Get in below, and I'll see you live at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everyone, for watching.